Sometimes as a leader, you can work hard in the short term but still fail to achieve big picture goals. How do you keep your short-term work aligned with long-term objectives?
Keeping the longer term goals, always in your sights can be a challenge. I actually don't find that a challenge. I think it's one of probably my few strengths that I bring to the role. Literally every day when I wake up and get out of bed, I have in my mind what has to be accomplished this day, over the next month, over the next year, over the next 3 years. It's almost as though I have it tattooed on my forehead. But of course the challenge then for me becomes, the CEO role is not really about you, it's about mobilising the people around you to act and achieve, that common goal. So the challenge then for me is making sure that I'm constantly communicating, that longer term vision, because it's very easy for people to get busy, but often as you're busy, you're increasingly less effective.
I think it's important to always have a clear vision. The organisation obviously has a mission and values. You always have to hold that mission and vision against some of those decisions that you're making and against some of the processes that you're developing or the meetings that you're having. You need to always hold those up against what you're doing and making sure that you're reflecting back against that and saying, are we not losing focus? And it's very easy in our area to lose focus. We're working with people that are surviving on less than $1 a day. And it's very easy to get distracted and say, oh, there's need here, so we want to address that need. But if you keep going back to your core mission, it keeps you fairly focused.
For me, the big picture is always present. In my case, if I could do ourselves out of business, that would be a great goal, because it would mean we had stopped all the surplus food that there was and we'd provided food so people did not need it anymore. But that end goal is always, how do we get more food? How do we help more people? In the short term, it's about balance. It's about making decisions right here, right now, that will impact for now but affect the long term. So I guess it's about multitasking, it's about split personality, being able to do both. There isn't a decision I don't make that is right for now but would be wrong for long term. It's about keeping both of those in mind, present, front and back.
I always try and maintain contacts and read things that, as I put it, they force your head above the parapet. So inevitably, you turn up into the office as a CEO, you've got 150 things you're meant to do, the time in the course of an average day to do maybe 40 or 50 of them. So you end up subsumed in that day-to-day stuff. So if you don't consciously create space and time to think about the bigger picture, and as a student of leadership, I've always been fascinated by examples of great visionary leaders and what they actually do. And the common thread is that they will all say they create space and time for reflection, contemplation, bigger picture analysis. Paul Keating, who's an unashamed hero of mine, tells a great story. He said, while he'd get into trouble sometimes, the picture he'd paint was he'd wake up in the morning, he'd have a cup of tea, he'd put on Mahler's Resurrection Symphony or whatever, and that'd be his space. And he said that created the kind of mind space and place where he thought about the bigger picture issues, and then he kind of trudge off to the office and get subsumed into the day-to-day stuff. And that picture's always stuck with me, and so I'm an exercise addict. My space of reflection is to get out and exercise, and that kind of clears the head and gets the endorphins flowing. So I'm reasonably religious about doing that. And the second thing is, I've always felt that the period over summer, that great Aussie period of you really shouldn't be in the office in back end of December and January, and that's when I kind of retreat to the neutral corner and the beach house and surf and do what you do over summer. But that's when I've got, do the reading, thinking time, and I don't have day-to-day stuff to do. So I think it's about trying to have conscious strategies and approaches to create that big picture space, but those things are always in tension.
Leadership isn't just about one person. Leadership is about influence. So when you're dealing with strategy in the small day-to-day stuff and the big picture, it's really important to build a bridge and make that giant leap, which is your big picture, but always build the bridge back to today, to the present moment. And making sure that you have the resources. And I'm not just talking about your paid staff. Resources also include your pro bono and your volunteer. They include your board. Understand absolutely what that person's skill set is and how they can be best used. So there are roles and responsibilities. And then that group provides stewardship for your strategy. So it's not about a CEO achieving or not, it's about the stewardship group protecting, hosting, nurturing and supporting a strategy to its mission.
You will always have that tension between short-term outcome and long-term outcome. It's a key issue in the non-for-profit sector because you've got revenue that you've got to achieve within a certain period of time, budget cycle, and then you've got your long-term strategy that needs investments and focus and effort. And often the non-for-profit sector doesn't necessarily manage that very well, where we have unrealistic expectation on building revenue exponentially, but not necessarily investing in those pipelines to make it happen. Go back to the strategy, be very clear with your board. If they want to triple the fundraising income in the next whatever time, you're going to have to come back to them with investment scheme, testing those particular product or channel, and be very clear how you're going to actually implement that and the resource needed to actually make that happen. When that's all signed off, I think the execution is that you make sure that you again hire the right people and the resources to develop that. And you as a CEO, I think, yes, you can be bogged down with operational issues and you've got to make sure that you've got time to work on your business. Because if you're constantly working in your business and not on it, you're going to miss your long-term goal.